Hello and welcome everybody to a new type of video I've got here today. Now, some of you might not know this, but I am not just in the video games industry as far as my interests go. I am a web developer, a programmer, that kind of thing, and I have done some web development work in the past and all that. And one of the things you learn very early on in the realm of web development and web design is what a bad website looks like. And I mean bad. You know, so you don't have to repeat those mistakes yourself. And because I haven't quite figured out what game I'm going to review next, I figured why not share some of these examples of just no good, bad, awful, terrible, terrible web design for you all. Huh? Why not? It'll be fun. It'll be fun. A little adventure in the horrors of bad web design. Now, for those of you who might be experienced in web design, or have just explored the internet enough, you might be aware of some, if not all, of the websites that I'm going to show you, because most of these are classics. I don't know if this is going to be a recurring thing or not. If it is popular enough to be a recurring thing, who knows, I might find more and more obscure bad websites to just keep this going as a little sub-series. Who knows, if you enjoy it, let me know. But for today, I've got 5 bad websites here that I believe are sort of classics. Classic examples of what not to do when designing a website. And first up, we have what I think might be the most classic of the classic, Ardennet. Just take it all in for a second. Just take it all in for a second. The beauty of this cluttered mess of a website. Watch this. It's even horizontal. It's even horizontal. It's crazy. It's beautiful. I love it. It's so bad. It's like the Power Glove. Mr. Arngren here, I don't know if that's his name, or Arngren, I should say. I don't know if that's his name. He's got products. He's definitely got products. From cars to scooters to binoculars to a fence to keep your child contained, to that one cool robot thing that I used to have as a kid that I'm pretty sure broke at some point and I don't remember why, to what looked to be bizarre stock photos up in the corner. They don't even have labels. I don't know what those are supposed to be, but you know what? They're there. And hey, you get 100% satisfaction guaranteed, risk-free. It's beautiful. You can immediately tell why this website is awful. You can immediately see. There's no hiding it. It's cluttered. It's filled with words and images and links all over the place. It's incomprehensible. It's obvious to see why this website does not work. It also doesn't look like it's been updated since about 1999. Next up on our list of websites here, we have another classic, lingscars.com. Now, I'm fairly certain at this point that Ling is in on the joke. The UK's craziest car leasing website, as said at the top. I get the feeling that this may not be as genuine as some other bad websites out there. It certainly has the color scheme and the formatting to be absolutely awful. It looks like it was ripped straight out of 2002 or something. Almost like a GeoCities page. But I have heard rumors that Ling is potentially in on the whole bad website thing. So it's possible that she's doing this entirely ironically, specifically because she knows it's so bad. But hey, it's just a good example to bring up if you're trying to teach someone how to not make their website. Now, there is one other thing about this website that you'll start to notice as I'm scrolling here. This site is very vertical. Now, I'll get into this later with another site, with the last site that I've got here. But as you can tell, as you can probably guess, vertical, entirely vertical, putting everything here is not a good idea. You should only be having to scroll down if you want even more stuff, and you shouldn't have to scroll down that far. If you have too many things on your website that you're just making this constantly scrolling thing, I don't even know what to call it, it's barely a functioning web page here. If you're just creating this, all this void space, there's a problem. You need to just take all of this, whatever you have left, and put it in another page. Just create a new page, create a link for it on the home page. You do not do this verticality. It is not good, and I will show you how bad it can get later. But yes, this is Lings Cars, another fairly famous example of bad website design that, at this point, I'm fairly sure is ironic. Next up, we have one that I feel like has to be a joke. The Yale School of Art. Yes, this is real. This is the actual page for the Yale School of Art. I am convinced this has to be a joke by the staff and the students. These are art students. They have to know that this is awful. This website is something. This is where you learn that you need colors and you need borders. And also you need to use the entirety of your website so that you don't look like a YTMND page. For instance, I'm not sure if the person who made this website understands how drop shadows work, but that yellow surrounding the Yale School of Art text is not a drop shadow. That's not how that works. That's just a background. And it's awful. And it singes my eyeballs. And once more, as we scroll here, we see the verticality problem show up again. It's not as bad as Lings Cars, because there's just not enough to show in all this verticality, but it is most certainly present. I imagine this would look slightly better if all of this was put into the center, but at the same time it would still have the verticality problem, it would still have all the color issues, the fact that there are no solid borders for anything, and everything is super bright and contrasting. Everything pops out so much that none of it does. And I have not heard anything about this being ironic or a joke, but I would not be surprised if it was. That might just be me coping. It might just be me coping that this is a joke. That's my only reasoning for how this could possibly exist for the Yale School of Art. But we have two more websites to look at here. Two more that I think you'll find very, very interesting. Next, we have this little website that I was only made aware of about a few months ago, I believe. IrishRexOnline.net. Now, the idea behind this website is very interesting. It's a website where you can just check out all the shipwrecks that have been found around the coast of Ireland, and you can search rather thoroughly. This is a very thorough search here. You can find every kind of ship that's been found and identified all over Ireland, and you can even find it by county and everything. It's actually a very interesting website if you're interested in shipwrecks. It's very interesting in that regard, but as you can tell, the website design is not very good. You see that copyright thing down at the bottom, 1997? Yeah, they probably haven't overhauled this website since 1997. Probably because they think it does its work just fine, so they have no need to change it. But if you want to make your website interesting to look at, this is not how to do it. Just looking at this thing burns. Everything is so bright, the colors are so clashing. It's ridiculous. It was the problem from the Yale School of Art website turned up to 11. With all the bright, pastel, sometimes clashing colors and weird backgrounds, such as the water background on the rec list. It's very bizarre. And also some of the fonts being this sort of semi-3D font effect that was very popular in the late 90s and early 2000s. Somehow this site has apparently received 3 different awards. I don't know how that happened. For a world-class website. Yeah, definitely a world-class website here. Right. That is IrishRexOnline.net. Perfect example of function over form. And finally, we have this. Some of you may be aware of this. It's called the TimeCube website. We're going into this guy, Gene Ray. Now, I'm not here to discuss the absolute insanity that is the concept of the TimeCube. You can go look up Frederick Knudson's Down the Rabbit Hole video on that. I'm not here to talk about that. That is a whole other thing in and of itself. I'm here to talk about the website design. Because this website, those of you who are aware of this website, will be aware of the way it's formatted. And this is that verticality problem I mentioned earlier, taken to its absolute extreme. Watch as I click on this tiny little square on my scroll bar, and hold, and just start scrolling. Indeed. This This is the Time Cube. This is the man who created the Time Cube. This is the website that speaks of the Time Cube, of attempting to explain the Time Cube, and the bizarre ramblings of the man who believes the world is out to get him, or believed, I should say, the world was out to get him for understanding the Time Cube. This is a primo awful website. Although it is not a website that I believe many people use as an example of a terrible website, and I think part of that comes from the fact that there's not much to show here as far as design. It's just verticality and bright contrasting colors. That's about it, really. There's not much beyond it to talk about in terms of design. The reason you go to this website to talk about anything is to talk about the guy and the concept he's trying to explain, and his bizarre theories. But I still believe this is a classic example of absolutely awful website design that people should look into. People should be aware of. Specifically just the idea of avoid extreme verticality at any cost. Just create other menus that are easy to click into. I know it'll be hard to create a bunch of tabs that all fit nicely together, but believe me, it'll work out for the best if you manage to figure it out. So, yes, that is my adventure. That is our adventure today in the wonders of awful web design. I hope you all enjoyed this little video, this little off-the-cuff sort of non-gaming related video that I decided to make here. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all later.